Animals 2 by 2 by Lawrence F. Lowery. Animals come in many sizes. Animals come in many shapes. Sometimes you can tell them apart by their size. Sometimes you can tell them apart by their shape. In what other ways can you tell one animal from another? Sometimes one kind of land animal looks somewhat like another type of land animal. By its shape, a zebra looks somewhat like a horse. But if you look and compare the animals, you can tell them apart. The easiest way to tell a horse from a zebra is to know that zebras have black and white stripes. Horses do not have stripes. If you look carefully, you will also see that the zebra's ears are larger than those of a horse. The zebra has a solid tail with a tuft of hair at the end, not a full bushy tail like a horse. The zebra's mane always sticks straight up and the horse's mane lays flat. There are many ways to tell a zebra from a horse, of course. Monkeys and apes look alike too. Have you ever seen a monkey and an ape at a zoo? If you look carefully and compare monkeys and apes, you will see that they have somewhat different shapes. The monkey has a tail, the ape does not have a tail. The ape's arms are longer than its legs. The monkey's arms are not longer than its legs. Can you tell a monkey from an ape by its shape? Birds have wings and so do bats. Bats fly through the sky and so do birds. If you look carefully, you will see that bats have fur and birds have feathers. Fur and feathers can help you tell a bat from a bird. What else can you see that is different between birds and bats? The bodies of alligators and crocodiles are long and low. Can you tell which is which? How would you know? When an alligator closes its mouth, the teeth of its lower jaw cannot be seen. When a crocodile closes its mouth, the teeth of its lower jaw can be seen. Crocodile has a long, slender, V-shaped nose. An alligator has a broad, flat, U-shaped nose. Alligators have webbed feet. Crocodiles do not have webbed feet. Study these animals for a while. Now you can tell an alligator from a crocodile. Turtles and tortoises may look alike, but they are very different from each other. The feet of turtles are webbed and their legs are smooth like flippers for swimming. The feet of tortoises have toes and claws, and their bent legs are sturdy for walking and digging. Most tortoises have a heavy dome-shaped shell. You can feel raised parts on top of the shell. Most turtles have a light shell that is flat and nearly smooth. The tortoise lives in dry places on land. The turtle lives mainly in or near water. Tortoises eat plants. Turtles eat fish, worms, and insects. Can you now tell a tortoise from a turtle? How can you tell a frog from a toad? In some ways they look alike. Look carefully. The frog has long, powerful jumping legs. The toad has shorter legs for walking and hopping. The skin on a frog is moist and smooth. The skin on a toad is dry and bumpy. The eyes on a frog bulge. The eyes on a toad do not bulge. Frogs prefer wet environments. They live mostly in water. Toads prefer dry environments. They live mostly on land. Now can you tell a frog from a toad? Butterflies and moths both have wings and can fly, but they are not the same. Can you tell why? An easy way to tell the difference is to look at their antennae. A butterfly's antennae are long with a bulb at the end. A moth's antennae are feathery. The body of a butterfly is thin. The body of a moth is fat. To tell them apart, you must look at that. Butterflies are typically larger and have more colorful patterns on their wings. Moths are typically smaller and generally have less colorful wings. If you were asked to choose, could you tell an elk from a moose? Compare their feet, their ears, and their eyes. You can tell them apart by their difference in size. A grown moose is much larger than a grown elk. A moose is dark brown, an elk is light brown. A moose has a very large long nose. An elk's nose is narrower. A moose has some skin and hair hanging down from its neck. The elk does not have anything hanging down from its neck. A grown moose has broad, flat antlers. The elk has pointed antlers. Elk travel in herds. Moose almost always travel alone. How would you tell a snake from an eel? Both have a long, thin shape. They have no legs. If you could touch them, how would they feel? The skin of a snake feels very dry. The skin of an eel is slippery. Most snakes live on land. Eels have fins. They live in water. To tell them apart, look at their skins and look for fins. Do you know the difference between an insect and a spider? Is one always taller? Is one always wider? No. Just count the legs and you can state that insects have 6 legs and spiders have 8. How could you tell a sea lion from a seal? They look alike and live in the ocean. Both have flippers and fur, but the sea lion's ears are easy to see. A seal has ears that cannot be seen easily. Look for the ears and you can tell the sea lion from the seal very well. A mole looks very much like a vole. How can you tell a vole from a mole? A vole has thin front paws with small smooth claws. A mole has thick front paws with large rough claws. You can tell these animals apart by their paws. Can you tell a duck from a goose? These two animals look somewhat alike. Both have feet like paddles. Both have bills and feathered tails. But a goose is much larger with a much longer neck. To tell them apart, the neck is the thing to check. Can you tell a slug from a snail? Neither has legs, neither has a tail. Both have long feelers and tiny eyes. But snails have shells. Most slugs do not. So don't forget how to tell, just look for the shell. If you compare animals carefully, you can tell them apart. Compare their shapes, look at their sizes, compare their colors, look at their eyes. Do they have arms? Do they have toes? Do they have ears? What about the nose? Carefully compare animals 2 by 2. You can tell them apart if you do.